a chapter-by-chapter explanation of the book. Let Me Out, Unlock Your Creative Mind and Bring Your Ideas to Life, by composer and creative Peter Himmelmann, with psychological and behavioral analysis and real-life examples. Book Introduction. Let Me Out. The Cry of Stifled Creativity. The essence of the introduction. Let me out is not just a sentence. It's a dramatic representation of what every person with creative ideas feels, but faces internal obstacles that prevent them from being brought to life. Himmelmann uses his experiences as an artist, musician, and father to paint an accurate picture of how we stifle our ideas without realizing it. Key question: how many beautiful ideas died before they were born just because you felt afraid? Chapter 1. An Invisible Prison. The Bound Mind. Key ideas. 1. The mind is not as free as we think. We are programmed from childhood to be safe, guaranteed success, and not take risks. This produces a cowardly mind, afraid of everything new. 2. School, parents, society, they all place invisible restrictions. Example: how many times have you said an idea in class and others laughed at you? Then you start to fear making a mistake. 3. Creativity is born in chaos, but it is killed in an environment that glorifies order. Classroom exercise. Today, write a list of 5 things you're afraid to do because you doubt yourself. Choose one and do it, even symbolically. Chapter 2. The Inner Critic, the enemy that lives in your head. Deep. Psychoanalysis. Everyone has an inner voice that constantly criticizes them. This voice originates from past experiences: embarrassment, failure, criticism. The real danger lies not in the presence of this voice, but in believing it. Types of inner critics. 1. The perfectionist voice. You won't do it unless it's perfect. 2. The cowardly voice. What if I fail? People will talk. 3. The sarcastic voice. Who do you think you are? An artist? Therapy technique. Give this voice a sarcastic name. For example, the old boss. Imagine it speaking, and then respond as if you were talking to a child afraid of the dark. Chapter 3. Play. Therapy for Stifled Creativity. Philosophical perspective. Play is not a luxury. It is a form of authentic self-expression. A child is unafraid of having their play evaluated, so they create. An adult constantly monitors themselves, so they are stifled. How do we reconnect with play? 1. Draw aimlessly. 2. Make up a story of your own and share it with a child. 3. Try dancing alone in a room. Result: play activates areas of the brain responsible for creativity, the prefrontal cortex. The brain doesn't differentiate between child's play and creative brainstorming. Both are engines for generating ideas. Chapter 4. Sacred Risk. Fundamental Principle. True creativity begins when you're willing to fail in front of others. Why are we afraid? Because we attach our value to what we produce. If people don't like our work, we think we're a failure. Not that the work itself wasn't a good fit. Alternative thinking. Every project is an experiment, not a test. True success lies in the experience, not in its outcome. Chapter 5. The Power of the Small Moment. The Big Myth. You have to have a big idea to get started. Reality. Everything starts small. A great book, the first page. A great movie, a line of dialogue. The 5-minute rule. Spend just 5 minutes a day on your idea. Don't evaluate results, just commit to consistency. Chapter 6. From Idea to Accomplishment. Practical translation. The biggest obstacle: great ideas die in the comfort zone. The golden tool: turn ambiguity into steps. Applied example. Idea: I want to start a podcast. Analysis. The first step: open a recording app. Then, try a 3-minute talk. Then, send it to a friend. This is how a big idea is turned into a series of simple, actionable steps. Chapter 7. Who are you to create? The dreaded question. Am I worthy of being creative? The answer. According to Himmelmann, a creative person isn't someone who creates something great, but someone who acts as if they are. Action precedes feeling. Start acting like a creative person, and then it will gradually become an inner belief. Chapter 8. Creativity is everyday life. The book's final philosophy. Don't make creativity a rare occurrence, but a way of life. Cooking, conversations, clothing, time management. They're all opportunities for expression. The real victory. Becoming someone who expresses their thoughts fearlessly and sees beauty in the small details. The final conclusion, 10 commandments for the courageous creative. 1. Don't wait for inspiration. Create it. 2. Your inner voice isn't a prophet. Discuss it. 3. Start with what you have from where you are. 4. Creativity isn't a talent, it's a commitment. 5. Failure isn't an end, it's a step. 6. Every day is an opportunity to redefine. 7. Laughter and play are valuable fuel. 8. Don't wait for permission from anyone. Acer. 9. Your surroundings matter. Choose who sees you as able. Your deed. 10. Don't nip your ideas in the bud. Let them emerge. Among the most prominent stories mentioned in the book, Story 1. The Man Who Buried His Song. 1. Background. A man in his 50s works for a large software company in California. He is known for his calm professionalism, working long hours and living a stable lifestyle. But behind this calm, he was hiding an old secret. He loved music in his 20s and wrote a number of songs as a teenager. Tenor, one of those songs written during a moment of heartbreak after the loss of his mother, meant a lot to him. 2. Events. He didn't dare play it, record it, or even share it with his friends. In a training session at the Big Muse workshop led by Peter Himmelmann, participants were asked to share an artwork they had written in the past but hadn't published. The man hesitated a lot, but then took an old piece of yellow paper from his wallet and began reading aloud. After the first verse, his voice began to tremble, and halfway through the song, he stopped and cried in front of everyone. The group fell silent, then applause began, and some of them teared up with emotion. 3. Emotions. He felt guilty for letting himself down and silencing his inner voice for all these years. The song represented more than just the lyrics. It represented his old self that he had repressed. His crying wasn't just emotion, it was a release from a heavy burden he had carried for 30 years. 4. Deep messages. Many people don't lack talent, but rather audacity. Or creativity shouldn't always be evaluated through the lens of acceptance or criticism. It should be given life because it's part of the self. Fear of rejection kills creativity before it's born. 5. Psychological lessons. When a person suppresses a creative desire for years, they eventually feel an internal disconnect between who they are and who they pretend to be. Artistic expression is sometimes considered a form of therapy because it opens a gateway to buried emotions. Story 2. The Girl Who Inspired a Company. 1. Background. A woman in her mid-40s, an executive at a global marketing company. She specializes in commercial presentations and leading sales teams. Her personality is based on realism, numbers, and precision, and she hates anything described as fantasy or absurd. However, she was the mother of a 6-year-old girl, full of energy and imagination, who loved telling strange stories. She would tell her mother stories about the wind that loved to dance, or crayons that talked in the night. 2. Events. During a Big Muse workshop, she was asked to write a strange and imaginative story that didn't rely on logic. She hesitated at first, but then thought of her daughter and wrote a story inspired by her conversations. One night, the windows decided to speak. One of them said, "Why do they close us every morning? We love sunlight." When she read the story to her colleagues in the workshop, everyone burst out laughing and admiring it, saying it was amazing, innocent, and full of life. 3. The Big Change. After the workshop, the manager decided to incorporate this type of symbolic short story into some of her company's presentations. In a major marketing pitch for a new product, she opened the presentation with a short story about a board pen, connecting the need for creativity in office work. Customers loved the presentation and were moved by it. and engagement increased to an unprecedented level. Number 4. Psychological and behavioral analysis. The child represented the repressed part of her mother, the free and creative part. Once she gave this part of herself space to express herself, it began to have an impact not only in her personal life, but also in her work performance and professional standing. Rare. The story proves that creativity doesn't contradict professionalism, but rather enhances it. In it for us, the deep message. When we allow the child within us to speak, the adults around us listen attentively.